How you doing? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Today I want to talk about 3 ways that you can change your alcohol past. Now obviously I'm not talking about going back in some time machine and actually changing your past so that you don't start drinking or any of that bullshit, how much most of us would like to go back and do that. Talking about looking at it from different perspectives. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you like. It all helps. And if you are ready to get help from us, click on the link down below and you can get our book, Habits Unplugged, 10 Steps to Stop Drinking Alcohol. It's absolutely free. A lot of great information about that, but I'll talk about that at the end. The first thing that you can do, the first way that you can change your alcohol past is through distance. And what I'm talking about with distance is when you start to stop drinking alcohol, you've got what I call the drinker's mind. And the drinker's mind is basically where your mind is still revolving around this habit. You know, when you're going on holidays, when you're at the weekend, at the end of your day, you're thinking about alcohol from that perspective. When you're going to a restaurant, you're thinking about alcohol. You know, so alcohol becomes much more a part of your life in various different scenarios. And your brain, your thinking has evolved over the years. So I was drinking for 30 years. So the more you get away from alcohol, if you move away from alcohol in the way that you're focusing on other things and you're building your own life, you're building your self-esteem, you're building your self-confidence, and you're moving towards the best possible version of yourself, then you start to see things from a much gentler, a much kinder sense of yourself, from a much kinder perspective, if you like. Now, number 2 is you change the way you think about your past. Now, I'm not talking about rewriting your history here. I'm not talking about, as I say, going back into the past and changing anything. I'm talking about reframing things, framing it from a different perspective. And I'll give you an example. When I stopped drinking alcohol first, I wanted to be a better dad to my son. And there's a reason for that, because I felt at the time, under the drinker's mind, that I wasn't being a good dad. There was a lot of stuff that was happening in my life, and I felt like I was neglecting my son and had neglected him for a long time. Now, once I got 6 months into this, a year into this, and now 8 years almost into this journey, I think about that from a completely different perspective, in that I look at myself back then as being a really good dad. A good dad whose habit of drinking alcohol got in the way sometimes. Sometimes got in the way and I chose alcohol over my son. Not many times, but there was a lot of times. So it's reframing it and looking back at that and, you know, thinking, well, you can't change anything about it, but you can change the way you look at it, right? Do you get what I mean? If you're trying to get towards that best possible version of yourself, then you really need to do this kind of work to look at your past and to jigger it around a little bit so that you're looking at it from a very different perspective. Number 3 is to put things right. The AA has something, I'm not sure which one of their steps, but they say from the beginning that you have to admit that you were wrong, admit that you were wrong to other people, admit that you've done wrong to other people, and try and put those things right. I don't agree with that at all, right? I think that you have to start with yourself, not with other people. You have to work on yourself until you get to a stage where you're capable of looking at other things from a much higher perspective. Because if you try and do these things at the beginning, if you land yourself with this guilt at the beginning and you try and think about all the shit that you've done to other people, right? What's that going to do to you? What's that going to do to your own anxiety? What's it going to do to, you know, it might give you some spiritual relief, but it's not going to help you in the short term. And this is what we're talking about, trying to get past that short term, get through the transition period, right? We talk about this as moving through and really trying to sort out some of the things in your past that you've got to get rid of, but also which parts of your past are you going to reframe, which parts are you going to move on with, and what parts do you need to really change. That's transition for us. So you are the most important other people. There's plenty of time for dealing with other people, and if you've done something to somebody else, looking for, you know, saying you're sorry to them for that later on and trying to make up for that kind of stuff later on. But only when you've got a much clearer, more kinder mindset about yourself. when you feel more esteem about yourself. You are the most important person in this. You've got to build yourself at the beginning until you're capable of dealing with these other things in your life, right? So anyway, so I'll leave it there for today. It's 3 different perspectives of looking at your past and 3 ways that you can reframe things. Like I say, if you are ready to stop drinking alcohol and you want some help, there's a book down below, 10 Steps to Stop Drinking Alcohol from Habits Unplugged. Click on the link down below, leave your name and email address on the website alcoholmastery.com, and I'll send you out a copy of the book straight away. You have to read it though. You have to open it up and read it and follow some of the stuff that's in there, because if you don't, there's no point. Take care of yourself, and I will speak to you again soon. Onwards and upwards. Bye bye now.